You're locked into the Liberty Flames podcast, powered by Rogers Heating and Cooling, servicing Greater Lynchburg's HVAC and electrical needs. Schedule your service today at callrogers.com.
The Liberty Flames mobile app is a must-have for game days. When you download the app, your access to Flames Nation is in the palm of your hand. Listen to our live Liberty Flames Sports Network audio broadcast. Click the Media tab, and under Audio, find the live broadcast in progress. Football, basketball, baseball, coaches shows, all right here. Purchase and manage tickets to the next Flames home game. Click the Tickets tab. Select Purchase Tickets. Then you have the ability to buy seats to the next game. Download those tickets directly to your device and scan them at the gate. Or select Manage Tickets to download your previously purchased tickets or parking pass. Transfer or sell your tickets easily through the Manage Tickets button. Download the Liberty Flames mobile app today from your App Store or Google Play.
Get ready for Double Coverage with Nick Pierce and Pat Kelly, the weekly podcast that takes you inside Flames football and around the nation before game day. Now, alongside former Flames All-Conference wide receiver Pat Kelly, here's your host, Nick Pierce.
It's that time of year where you could just call me the podfather of Liberty Athletics. I'm on everything right now, folks. But welcome back in. This time it's double coverage. We're talking Flames football, and yes, crossover season is in full effect. Liberty football, Liberty basketball. I feel like I'm doing about a show a week. Or no, not a show a week, a show a day, show an hour maybe. But it's a lot of fun, and we're talking football today. This time I've got Pat Kelly back here with me again on double coverage. Part of the Liberty Flames podcast family, presented by Rogers Heating and Cooling. Make sure you schedule your service today at callrogers.com. Rogers Heating and Cooling is servicing Greater Lynchburg's HVAC and electrical needs as always. Glad to have them part of our family here at the Liberty Flames Sports Network. Our family, Pat Kelly. to coin a phrase from a fired head coach in Brian Kelly. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Had you forgotten about that? Our family?
Family. It is impossible to forget about that. And you know, we've told the audience before, I grew up an LSU fan. I'm still an LSU fan, born and raised in the area. He's gone now. Everyone was screaming from the mountaintops, he's not a cultural fit. And I kept saying, yeah, but he's the winningest coach that's currently coaching. It's going to be fine. Come to find out it was not fine. So you can't fake culture, and he tried his best, but here we are.
You know, he wasn't, maybe 3 hours out of Baton Rouge. I don't even think he had left Baton Rouge yet when Temple put out the graphic reminding everyone that now Casey Keeler is the winningest active head coach in college football.
You know, I actually didn't know that, Nick. What a fun fact to drop.
I didn't either, and Temple made sure that everyone knew it.
Too funny.
Yeah, I figured we had to get a little Cajun dialect in here to begin things today with Liberty headed down to the Bayou this weekend. Liberty and Louisiana Tech on Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern. I don't know, is Ruston considered the Bayou, or is it just the whole state? Is there a portion of the state? You're the native. You tell me.
I was born in Kenner, which is basically in New Orleans, so I'm like downtown inner city. So that's a little bit out of my way. It's more rural though than anything. So
yes, it is.
So good luck to you, Nick, as you're making your way down there. I will be watching from the comfort of my couch.
Yeah, I don't hate that, but I always like getting to new places, although this isn't new to me anymore. I've been to Ruston a couple of times now with our baseball team. Spent a week down there for the conference tournament last year, 2024 it was, yeah. Cool little downtown area. They got a record shop, music store down there that I frequented. Vinyl selection, CDs. You can get those CDs for like $5. They're used. I think I got a Lion King soundtrack down there the last time I was there,
Nick, the audience is not asking, but you know what I watched last night with my daughter? She asked for a movie.
Give it to me.
We threw Lion King on, so love it.
Timeless. Why not, right?
Circle of life.
No. So looking forward to getting back. I think the Flames are actually flying into Shreveport this weekend. It's about an hour away. Shreveport, Ruston, Monroe, all right there along a line. I think it's I-10, runs right through the middle of Louisiana.
You nailed it.
about 4 hours north of New Orleans, where you're from. So, yeah, Flames will be back on the road this weekend. We'll chop that game up here for you in just a little bit. We will talk everything Flames football this week. Yeah, I mean, it's been a disappointing few days. Tough one down in Miami last weekend. Liberty losing to FIU in overtime, 34-27. Second straight year that game has gone to overtime. Liberty getting the better of FIU last year in Lynchburg with the
Was that
strip
the
sack.
Christian Bodner strip sack to
Yep,
win it?
strip sack to win it. And ironically, this time it was FIU's defense on the field that ended it with a turnover. Ethan Vasco throwing the interception in the end zone to end the ball game on a fourth down play, and the Flames come up a touchdown short in a game that was winnable. It was there for the taking. Liberty got off to a strong start again offensively, scored on the first drive. I think that's 3 straight games they've scored on the first drive. But this week, Pat, they scored on the first 3 drives and looked like they really had a good, strong game plan early on. The execution was there. And for me, and we're not going to spend a ton of time on this game because I think it's already been rehashed a lot this week, but I do want to get your take on some things. For me, I thought the game swung because Liberty deferred. It won the coin toss, deferred to the second half. They were going to get the ball out at halftime. You had a chance to essentially go 2 for 1. And you're driving for points or maybe a touchdown there towards the end of half. I think down to FIU's 20-yard line, if I'm not mistaken. They go backwards. I can't remember if it's a negative play or a sack. It's all kind of running together now. But they end up going backwards. You get to fourth down, and you're trying to kick what would have been a 52-yard field goal for points. The kick is good. The false start backs you up another 5 yards. So at that point, seconds left, still, you're not going to run Jay Billingsley out from 58 yards. You throw the Hail Mary. It's not answered. You go to the locker room without any points on that particular drive. And then you come out of the locker room and you do nothing on the first drive of the second half. So that's kind of the double whammy where I thought Pat Liberty had a chance to really take control of the game right there. And instead they gave up a touchdown, I think, on the first drive for FIU in the second half.
Yeah, Nick, you're right. And, a phrase that a lot of fans are familiar with is you've got to win the middle 8, that being the last 4 minutes of the second quarter, the first 4 minutes of the third quarter. Put those together, you get 8 minutes. I'm no mathematician, but in what you just broke down, I mean, that was the perfect opportunity to win the middle 8. You get huge momentum by making it a big time kick going into the locker room. And then you get the penalty, and then it's actually deflating because points are off the board. And then exactly what you just mentioned, you get the ball to start, you don't make anything of it. So it certainly is frustrating. I mean, that game it had the highs and lows all throughout. I mean, I know that we can talk plenty about it, but it's just really disappointing. And it's another game where the team has really struggled to take care of the football. This team, I hate to keep going back to the Fiesta Bowl season, but I think that year, 4 interceptions or maybe 5 interceptions total, they did a really good job of protecting the football. Some fumbles, didn't lose all of them, but this team's just been really poor this year in terms of taking care of the football. And I think that's been the biggest bummer to me. Can't win the game if you don't have the ball on offense to go score points, and they're just shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, and on top of that, not only are you turning it over, you're not turning the other team over. Flames were -2 in the turnover margin this past weekend. One of those interceptions on the very last play of the game. The other just on not a good throw at all. Ethan Vasco would probably be the first one to tell you that, putting the ball in peril on that off his back foot, cross the body throw interception. So you look at Liberty now -3 in the turnover margin for the season. Facing the Louisiana Tech team this weekend, Pat, that's +5 in the turnover margin. We'll get into them a little bit later on, but that's one thing that catches your eye immediately. Some other big moments from this game, and again, Liberty had the lead at halftime. It was 21-17 going into the locker room, but again, you think about if you kick that field goal, it's 24-17, then you come out on your first drive of the next half, at the least you kick a field goal there, it's 27-17. You're up 2 scores. You're up 10 points. Maybe if you get a touchdown on one of those drives, then you could even be up more maybe. You had a chance. Point is, you had a chance to take control of the game and didn't do it. That said, Flames still had a chance late in the game. It's 4th and 6, down deep in FIU's territory. I forget what yard line it was now. 2:23 to go. It was inside the red zone, and the Flames are close to it. Flames 4th and 6, can't get the playoff. They end up taking delay of game. And I thought at first maybe Coach Chadwell was trying to get the timeout in. The officials didn't hear it because they even stopped and they talked about it. And then it was determined, no, it was delay of game. So the Flames ended up settling for the field goal there with 2:23 to go. Come to find out later, Pat, we asked Coach Chadwell about this on Tuesday at his media availability. It looked like Ethan Vasco was trying to change the protection there at the last second. I think there was about 4 seconds left on the play clock, 5 seconds left. Coach Chadwell had flirted with the idea of taking a timeout there. Looked like they were about to snap the ball, so he didn't want to disrupt that. And it's kind of like, coin a phrase, I guess, from baseball, an outfielder getting caught between steps. Do I dive? Do I not? And Chadwell held the timeout, also thinking, I'm going to need these here at some point because of where the game is and we're trailing. Flames don't get the protection changed. They don't get the ball snapped. When you're playing offense, Pat, I know you weren't a quarterback. At what point does the quarterback just have to kind of go with what's called, where's that clock got to be before it's like, okay, we're committed, we're just doing this?
Nick, there's not necessarily a hard and fast like rule of thumb, but a lot of times you'll hear between that 8, 9, and 10 seconds is when that's got to be your final checks are getting made. Because a lot of times what happens is you make a check, offensive lineman, you see him kind of turn his head back, make sure he heard it. Then you've got to communicate it amongst the rest of the line. If the quarterback's signaling out to a receiver or talking to a running back, all of this is going on. And so if you're doing that at the 4-second mark, there is a 0% chance that you're going to get that play off. So to answer your question, that 8, 9, 10 seconds, it's that, and that's even pushing it. And I think the big bummer there is your veteran quarterback making that adjustment. And believe me, I understand wanting to make a play. You dial something up on 4th and 6, and then you take the delay of game. That's tough. And I think the big bummer there is if you, I don't know, if you didn't have the look that you wanted, that pretty early in the play clock.
Just take the timeout.
Take the timeout, and come back out with your different play called. So I think the fact that you take that delay and then you're not able to even go for it on that instance, that's a big bummer. And I don't think the coaching staff gets a pass on this one either. I think you've got to know, hey, when this thing gets to a second left on the clock, you got to be ready to call it. And you'll see sometimes a flag will get thrown and they'll say, hey, before the flag, before the delay of game, Liberty takes a timeout, and you kind of get a pass there. So to not have even given the signal for a timeout when you're right in that referee's ear, that's tough. That's a tough look.
Well, and it was, to be exact, it was 4th and 6 at the FIU 15 before the delay of game penalty. So then it becomes 4th and 11. Obviously, at that point, you're not going for it. I would even back up, though, and I would say I would not have been opposed to just kicking the field goal anyway and not going for it on 4th and 6 and just taking some points. And that's just, for me, my way of looking at it, because now you've got the 2-minute timeout. You didn't have that prior to this year. Essentially, the 2-minute warning, right? They don't call it that, but that's what it is. So you've got an extra timeout now. Just kick the field goal, which they ended up doing, and you've got enough ways to stop the clock, enough time to get the ball back. And that's essentially what almost happened when the Flames got the FIU into a 3rd and 15 on the next drive. It's 3rd and 15, and I believe it was their own 25. Yes, their own 25-yard line, 3rd and 15, with still like 2:09. So you didn't even have the 2-minute timeout yet. You had 2:09 to go. You still had that in your back pocket when Liberty took the timeout. They still had one timeout and the 2-minute timeout, and then you give up a 26-yard reception in zone coverage. Talking to Christian Bodner after, basically just a zone beater route. JoJo Stone gets open over the middle. They get the first down on a 26-yard reception. Can happen. It did happen. Coach Chapel saying this past week at his media availability, had it to do over again, probably would have been at a different call, different coverage. I find it interesting, though, 2 straight weeks, Liberty's pass defense in a situation similar to that, trying to get a stop, get off the field. Last week against Missouri State, it was man coverage. Now they go with a zone look this week, and they get bit again. It's tough. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, you're throwing things out there. You're trying. I get it in principle. You're just trying to keep the ball in front. I mean, it's 3rd and 15. But
You
Stone's just
rally and
down.
tackle. You let them catch it underneath. You rally and tackle. That's kind of the thought there. But there's a difference between that thought and with execution.
Yeah, and so all that to say, Liberty still gets the ball back because of that 2-minute timeout. If not for the 2-minute timeout, I don't think Liberty gets the ball back because the clock wouldn't have been able to stop it enough at that point. So 4th and 1, FIU can't convert. Liberty gets the ball back. They end up getting that deep completion to Dante Lee for 29 yards. They get it down to the FIU 31 with 4 seconds, and thank goodness that the clock stops on the chains moving.
Nick, can I vent for a second really quickly?
Sure. We're getting a lot further in the weeds than I meant to, but I mean these are things that I want to rehash and kind of get your take on too. So
Don't get me wrong. I think a tremendous job by the special teams unit on that fire drill field goal to get out there, get a snap off, and get that kick up and through the uprights. Incredible job. That should not have happened. There was enough time, like where I am frustrated with that is you catch the ball, you get down. The play there is we're clocking it. We're clocking it. By the grace of God, they were able to get all 11 or the right number of players off of the field from offense and get their special teams unit on. I do not know how they were able to do that. That should have been we're at the line, everyone's on the line, quarterback catches a snap, he clocks it, there's 2 seconds left, or there's 3 seconds left.
And Chadwell said it. He said they were supposed to clock it. Someone had yelled, I guess, field goal, and there was mass confusion at that point. I watched one player literally turn back and forth to go to the field or the sideline 3 times. And like you said, just tremendous execution from Jay Billingsley, snapper, holder, for everyone to be able to pull that off and sneak that thing in just before the horn to get it to overtime. While you're maybe frustrated at the operation and how it got there, you got to tip your cap to the people that were involved in getting that kickoff as well, and the Flames tying it at 27. Overtime, defense goes on the field first. That's the right call. You want to do that. Give up the touchdown, though. You give up a 3rd and 10 to convert on first down and get it to 1st and goal, and then they end up getting the touchdown 2 plays later. Liberty gets it back. They got 1 first down, unable to get it in the end zone, though. Vasco on 4th and 6, intercepted by Mr. Clark in the end zone to end the game. So 34-27, FIU wins it over Liberty, and that drops the Flames to 4 and 6. But you got 2 games left. Louisiana Tech this week. You're home against Kennesaw State next week, and you still have the opportunity to make a 7th consecutive bowl game. And I'll say this, I think it matters just talking to the players, talking to the coaches. I think it's something that does matter to them, wanting to do it for the seniors. And look, I know some places there's seniors that are guys that have only been with the program for a year, and Liberty's got a few of those, but Liberty's also got a few guys that have been here for a while. You think about guys like C.J. Bazille, and there's others that have been here through a coaching change, played in these bowl games, haven't won a bowl game yet. You remember Liberty won its first 3 bowl games. There's guys on this team, I don't think there's anyone left that won a bowl game. And there's guys that haven't experienced that yet, and it matters to them. And I think what troubles me a little bit is some of the unintended consequences at this point of the college football playoff, of the transfer portal, and then indirectly NIL, how it's affected the transfer portal and guys' decisions to leave. It has muddied bowl games, and it's muddied the meaning and the significance of them. And I think that's really unfortunate for our game, because these things should matter. It used to be looked upon as a reward at the end of the year. You get to go on a cool trip somewhere that you probably haven't been before. You get to do all these activities. You get the swag. You get the merch. Now guys are just looking for their next payday and their next destination. Not everybody, but a lot of them are. And I think it's just really unfortunate that we've kind of taken our eyes off of, I say we collectively, the sport has, a lot of the folks around it have taken their eyes off the significance of what these bowl games are. Um, from a television standpoint, they still matter. I know that. Um, TV loves to have the ratings. Folks are sitting around on the holidays. They're watching these games. They're compelling storylines, and a lot of fans they don't know that a roster has been depleted. They're just looking up and saying, "Oh, School A and School B, from the MAC conference or CUSA, they're in a 17-17 game in the fourth quarter. It's 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. I'm off work. Sure, I'm going to watch this game, and so there's still the eyeballs, there's still the audience, there's still the platform. I'm glad to hear that it matters to a lot of these players, and I don't think you're going to have the situation you did last year where Liberty had a lot of players leave before the bowl game. Buffalo didn't. It mattered to Buffalo's players. They stuck around. I think you're going to have a different looking Liberty team that if they can win these last two games and get to a bowl, I think I think this is going to be something that they're going to really go out there and get after. I said a lot right there, Pat. I didn't mean to silence you for so long, but I'll throw it to you on that note. I mean, bowl games, I'd like to think that by and large they still matter for most folks.
Yeah, I certainly think so. And of course, you're going to have, those handful of guys on multiple teams that you're right. They are their names going into the portal and they're looking for their next move. And so they either opt out or, they're not giving it everything that they've got. But I think for the most part, on this Liberty team, it certainly is a much better group in terms of leadership in that locker room this year compared to last year. You don't need to call any names out. I think a lot of people understood kind of what went on. So I think it's a better locker room, better kind of culture amongst those guys. So I do see this as an opportunity to finish strong. And, I'm not seeing this with rose-tinted glasses or anything, but I do think given the adversity of this year, you had the long losing streak and then you had a chance back at the conference championship or to make it there. And then, that unfortunately went away as well. I think the calling card for this season could be, we endured a lot of adversity and we were still able to, against all odds, make it to a bowl game. And, people don't make it to the collegiate level and then eventually the NFL level, not being this type A hyper competitive, like I want to get on the, whether it's chess or checkers or I'm playing you in, whatever the game might be, like those guys want to go out there and dominate. It's just baked into who they are. So hearing that guys are like, yeah, we still have a ton to play for. Pride, this bowl game, like we want to finish strong. I think it could be a strong finish to the year if they're able to do that.
And how about the fact that this program hasn't had a losing season since 2005? And only one season where you didn't have a winning year. That was 2018, the reclassifying year where you move up and you go 6-6. So to do that in your first year of FBS and then to, until this year, win no fewer than 8 games every year, a couple double-digit win seasons in there as well, there's a lot of history here. There's some long streaks, a 6-year bowl streak, a 20-year streak of no losing seasons. You don't want to be the first to do that. That should motivate a lot of these guys, and I think it has. It's I'd like to. You can really change the whole dynamic of this season, the whole narrative of this year, if you can get to a bowl game, and then if like I said, win the thing. You go 7-6, and you've got some momentum maybe going into next year. Off-season evaluation will be interesting, I think, for this bunch. From a roster standpoint, really from everywhere. I mean, there's going to be a whole lot of things to look at. There's some things that did not go as planned this year. So it'll be interesting. But that's what's in front of the Flames. They have a chance to get back there and to do it again. Looking at the opponent this week, Louisiana Tech. It's a team that is talked talk about adversity. They've gone through their share of it too. Just the last 2 weeks, they've lost two quarterbacks. Blake Baker 2 weeks ago goes down with a torn ACL. Last week, they lose another quarterback to an upper body injury. That was Evan Bullock at Washington State. They end up losing that game 28-3. So Louisiana Tech's down to its third string quarterback, which right now is going to be Trey Kukoc, 6'1", 200-pound junior. Was at Saddleback College the last 2 years. Had some good numbers, 2,300 yards passing last year in junior college, 27 touchdowns. It's not Division I, but here we are. He's played in 6 games this year. Decent completion percentage, but only 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Look, it's a Louisiana Tech offense that's 98th in the country in total yards, 110th in the country in passing. So it's not like they were doing a lot of great work even when they were healthy at the position. But here's where they've made their living. 5-5 football team, run defense tied for 41st in the country, interceptions tied for 5th. They have 15 interceptions from their defense, even with losing Colby Fields about a month ago to a season-ending injury, one of their elite DBs. Scoring defense, 24th in the country, giving up just less than 20 points a game, +5 in the turnover margin, good in the red zone, top 10 defense there. This is what they do. They give up some yards between the 20s. They clamp down in the red zone. They take the football away, and they hold you off the scoreboard. For Liberty, what did we just talk about? The Flames have struggled taking care of the football at times. They've struggled to finish drives at times in the red zone. I mean, this is a game that the Flames offensively have got to be on their P's and Q's. And I don't think they have to go out there and score 35, 40 points to win it either, because of what I just talked about with Louisiana Tech's offense. But you can't go score 10. You've got to be able to go out there and do something offensively, hopefully get out to a lead and get these guys on their heels a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. This Louisiana Tech is it's not Oregon that you played in the Fiesta Bowl. You're much more on that like level playing field, so to speak. And, Liberty's winning formula the last couple of years has been establish the run, like be able to run the football, get push up front, dominate time of possession, and then just lean on that defense so that your defense is fresh when they're coming out there. And if the thing with Liberty is they haven't really played with the lead all that often this year. You mentioned in the last game against FIU, had that team come out and taken a 10 or a 17-point lead, who knows what it would have looked like, because they haven't really had that opportunity. The best example this year might have been Delaware, where your offense is just going crazy. But yeah, I mean, this team, they kind of hang their hat on run the football, dominate time of possession, and keep our defense fresh. And I think if Liberty can do that, they're going to be in a much better position to win.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it's a Louisiana Tech team that started 4-1. I think Sonny Cumbie might be up against it a little bit down there, their head coach. They can't win the conference this year, but they got 2 opportunities to get to a bowl game. It's the same thing as Liberty. They're trying to get to a bowl game. 5-5. They got Liberty at home this week. Then they got to go to Missouri State next week. That's no given. Playing that team, we saw how good they are and how good they've been this year. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. So Louisiana Tech could be sitting here staring 5-7 in the face, or 7-5, 6-6, going bowling. This is a big game for La Tech, and at home it's their senior day. This is a big one for both teams. So for the Flames, you got to be able to value the football, like you said. Lean on that run game. Look at Louisiana Tech. You talk about time of possession. La Tech 108th in the country in possessing the football, 28, a little less than 29 minutes. You got to be able to lean into that and keep your defense off the field. Flames defense that's been maligned by injuries. I wonder, too, how much of that, guys don't talk about it. They don't want to make excuses, and I respect that. But, not having a Joseph Carter on the field, and you think about these last couple of weeks, late game situations, giving up chunk plays on 3rd downs, 4th downs, you got to think that that's a factor, right?
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I mean, this guy, he's your your leading tackler, right?
He's
There's
your
a reason.
quarterback on your day. He's your leading tackler. He's your green dot on the field. I mean, he's your quarterback.
Yeah. And there's a reason he's the starter. You mentioned Louisiana Tech. They haven't been tremendously productive in the passing game, but there's a reason why their starter was the starter. They do certain things well. They bring a unit together, or they have a skill set that the coaching staff determines, okay, we need this guy on the field. This is why he's our field general, or why he's the captain and has the green dot. So you don't want to make the excuse, but it certainly is a reason or an explanation or a contributing factor to how things are maybe not working out as they could were he in the lineup.
Yeah, and it just seems like key situation. Attention to detail in these winning moments, something that the Flames have got to get better at here over these next couple of weeks if they're going to get at least partially to where they initially wanted to go at the beginning of the season, which is a bowl game. Conference championship out the window. Yeah, I mean it's got to be better here this week, and I think they know that. Got a few moments left. Good discussion today, by the way. Appreciate that as always. Got a few moments left. We're looking at Conference USA, and it looks like right now, I mean, gosh, this conference title game is so up in the air. I mean, Jacksonville State with a huge win over Kennesaw State last week. Called that one, by the way. Did you have Kennesaw or Jack State?
I think I took Kennesaw.
We do, for those that don't know, if you listen to our pregame show on the radio, we do pick'ems every week. And just for fun, I keep up with the results from all of the folks in our crew. Pat, you're among them, Alan York, Jason Porter, Todd Wetmore, our media relations contact, a couple other folks, Jason Prill are all part of this. And and last week you did indeed pick Kennesaw. But you had a good week. You went 5-2 in your picks. We pick 7 games every week. You and I both were 5-2. Actually, you're what, second place right now?
I think I'm second place.
Yeah, tied for second, actually behind Alan York. Alan York leading the pack.
Hey, what is it going to take? Do I need to slip you like a $20 bill to bump me up in the rankings, or what do we need to do here? Don't tell Alan.
No, no, don't do that, first of all. It's pretty sure we're breaking all kinds of rules if you do that. I want to stress the fact that there is no prize on the line here with this. We just do
Pride.
this for
There is a
our
prize,
own-
and it's pride.
It's pride and it's bragging rights. No, I am not accepting 20s or 10s or anything else. Um, but yeah, Kennesaw and Jack State last week. Jack State comes out on top of that thing. They're 6-0 right now. They're in the driver's seat to get to the conference title game. And that kind of brings me to with what I wanted to kind of end on here is biggest surprises around this league this year. And for me, at the top of that list, at the top of the standings, got to be Jacksonville State. I mean, they lose Rich Rodriguez. They lose the entire or most of the coaching staff. They lose Trey Stewart, who was 2,000-yard rusher last year. I think got a practice squad deal or something with the Vikings. I don't know if he's still hanging around or not. But you lose all of that production. You flip your roster over, your quarterback, your running back, and then all of a sudden they find Cam Cook. And he's been lights out. I mean, he has been cooking all year. And he's probably going to be the Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year. That team's won 5 straight. They're in the driver's seat right now. They might win back-to-back conference titles after all of that turnover from last year. I mean, they've got to be my biggest surprise this year.
Yeah, you took that one, and I think that is a really good one. I think I would go to one that kind of upset Liberty last year, second year in the conference. It's hard to not be impressed by Kennesaw State. What they're doing this year, just kind of, again, their second year in the league, I think is really impressive. And then if I had to pick another team, it's a team that Liberty lost to a couple weeks ago is Missouri State, kind of their first foray into the league, and they're doing some really good things. Fun offense to watch. I'm excited to track them in the future. I think they've got a great head coach. But those are probably my two, kind of the two newcomers to the league.
Yeah, Jerry Mack at Kennesaw State, first year as a head coach. He's done a tremendous job there. First year as a head coach at Kennesaw. It's not his first year as a head coach. He was at North Carolina Central prior to that, but definitely his biggest job up to this point. But a guy who's been in the SEC. He was the running backs coach at Tennessee. He's been at some other schools as an assistant. But he's done tremendous work there. And again, it hadn't always been pretty for them either. They've had quarterback issues, injuries that they've had to work through. Amari Odom is their guy right now. I mean, they're still in the hunt for the conference title game, speaking of Kennesaw State. Missouri State, I wasn't as much surprised by them just because coming out of the Missouri Valley, teams are making those jumps a little easier now than they used to. And I think the portal's got a whole lot to do with that. You can flip rosters in ways that you used to not be able to. That's why some of these rules are antiquated now with the reclassifying 2-year bowl ban, all that kind of stuff. I think if you're able to come up and compete right away, you probably ought to just be able to go play in a bowl game right away. But we'll see if that ever gets changed. Another team that surprised me, maybe from a negative standpoint, is Middle Tennessee. Now, a lot of folks were on Middle this year. Nick Vattiato coming back, veteran quarterback, second year for Derek Mason as the head coach, and it has just not gone well for them at all. I did not foresee them being 1-9. I didn't think they would get to a bowl game, but I didn't foresee it going this poorly.
No, I definitely didn't either. I think I did like Middle Tennessee. Again, not to burn the house down or anything like that, but I definitely expected more than kind of what they've put out this year. And with kind of silly season coming up, you do wonder how warm that seat might be in Middle Tennessee. I don't know.
I don't know what his contract looks like. I mean, it's only year 2, so I feel like he's going to get some time. But this is a pretty bad year.
Yeah. Well, Nick and you and I, we talked about this, regarding SEC jobs and kind of the pressure that comes with that. And I think one of the unintended consequences that has come with NIL and the portal and things like that is I think the expectation to win and to win faster is much higher now. So, whereas a guy might in the past have gotten 4 or 5 years, now maybe he's getting 2 and 3 years. It's the Wild West out there.
It is. And you're seeing guys get fired faster, like in season now. That used to never really be a thing. I mean, it had
James
to be.
Franklin from Penn State. He's been fired.
He's already got another job. We're not even through the year. He's already at his next place. At the press conference in Blacksburg this morning. I think that's a pretty good get for Virginia Tech, by the way. Probably as good as they could have done. They're all really excited for him. I think he's going to probably do a pretty good job there. It'll be interesting to see what the offseason yields, that's for sure. But until then, got more football in front of us. This Saturday, 3 o'clock Eastern kickoff, Liberty and Louisiana Tech in Ruston, Louisiana. Flames and the Bulldogs will meet, and we'll have it for you on the radio. Liberty Flame Sports Network from Van Wagner. Our airtime is at 1:30 Eastern this Saturday. I will be with you on the Bojangles Tailgate Show. We'll walk you up to kickoff. Good pregame interview with Flames running back Jalen Coleman, a Louisiana native. We'll have some sound from Brylan Green, another Louisiana native. He's got a lot of folks coming up from his family, bringing rice and beans and all the he said that they're going to be cooking up a storm. So,
hey, I need you to ask him if they're going to have some boudin. Ask them. Let's see. What else could they possibly?
You better text me this stuff because I ain't going to remember
it. I'll do it. And if I do, and they do, we're going to need pictures.
All right. I'll see if I can smuggle something on the charter back home. That'll just about wrap it up for this edition of Double Coverage. Appreciate you stopping by. It's been a lot of fun all season long. We'll come your way again here next week as we hit down the home stretch here for Flames football season. Hopefully we'll be talking about a game next week where Liberty can get bowl eligible with a win. We'll see what happens. Hit the follow button, subscribe to the Liberty Flames podcast, presented by Rogers Heating and Cooling, servicing Greater Lynchburg's HVAC and electrical needs. Schedule your service at callrogers.com. For Pat Kelly, I'm Nick Pierce. Thanks again for joining us. We will talk to you on Saturday in Ruston, Louisiana.
You've been listening to Double Coverage with Nick Pierce and Pat Kelly. Hit the subscribe button and listen each week to this and all podcasts on the Liberty Flames podcast channel from Van Wagner on the Liberty Flames Sports Network.